I just got out of seeing probably one of the most powerful films I've seen in a long time. I went and saw The Iron Claw tonight, and I have been hearing all kinds of reviews from people, all kinds of word of mouth about this film, about basically, I don't know. All I know is that it was like when I saw trailers for it. I mean, I've seen a bunch of things in the past on on Twitter about like some questions that people ask about what film would what actor would basically like ruin a movie for them or whatever. And up until tonight, I would say, that an actor that I really did not really care for all that much. That whenever they were in the movie, I always thought they were the weakest link of the movie, and it just didn't sit well with me. Was Zac Efron. I don't know why. Maybe it's because he was like a Disney type person, or that he's like good looking or charming or whatever and everything. That maybe like it was out of pure jealousy. I don't know, but for some reason he always rubbed me the wrong way, and but I gotta give him his props for this film here that I just saw tonight, the Iron Claw. Oh man, that was filmmaking at its finest. The Iron Claw is a movie that was written and directed by Sean Durkin, and man, like from the time it starts until the time it ends, you're just in for a ride. And it's not it's not a ride that's for the faint of heart, pretty much. And it really sticks with you afterwards. I just got out of the movie maybe like 15 minutes ago, and I'm sure I'm gonna keep thinking about it. And I've seen a lot of other people's takes on this movie about how it's stuck with them, and that's just what basically filmmaking's all about. It's not about flashy glamour, style but no substance. It's all about telling a story. And this film, it tells you a story. And I didn't know very much about the Von Erichs wrestling family, but wow, it really leaves an imprint on you after you see it. And I'm really interested in wanting to see it again. This is one of the movie. This is a film that you need to see on the big screen. So, if you've watched any of my videos, I'm a big proponent of trying to get getting people to get back into the theaters and go see films on the big screen. Because to me, if you see it on a small screen, that's not the way it's intended. And the way, like, if you see it on a big screen compared to a small screen, like, the whole message can be completely different than when you see it on a smaller screen. And this is a movie that needs to be seen by as many people as possible, on as many screens as possible, on the big screen, just to get the word out there about how powerful filmmaking can be. And this was, I mean, I've seen this movie on some people's, like, as their top favorite movie of last year, and this movie I know came out like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we're already in the new year. So I'm seeing it later than when I really wanted to. But wow, I'm glad I got to see it on the big screen. I'm glad I didn't let depression just basically eat me alive and prevent me from seeing it. And I'm gonna, like, if I do my reviews in the car, I know I've gotten some comments from some people in the past about, I don't know. I mean, like, to me, I've been, like, when I was doing the driving around and doing the reviews, to me, I mean, I believed I was watching the road and being safe as possible on the road. I mean, I have my phone camera, attached to the windshield, hands-free, and sitting here talking to you all, and basically, like, I felt like I was, like, doing, like, an episode of, Comedians in Cars with, Jerry Seinfeld. But maybe but I mean, if people are kind of upset about me doing it that way, then I guess I'll just basically sit in. I'll do it in the parking lot from now on. And so I heard some people's critiques, and I will basically moving forward, I'll move in a different direction. But anyway, so this movie was about, I think it's like 2 hours and 10 minutes long, and so it's based off a true story about the Von Erich wrestling family. And so our main protagonist is Zac Efron in this movie. He plays Kevin. And it basically, like, I mean, for the first hour, you see like how the family dynamic is, of how the father is like the main patriarch of the table, of the household. If he and he basically rules the house with, like, an iron fist, and all of his sons are basically, fighting for his approval. And the father, I think his name's Jack Van Alric. He was a wrestler himself, and he worked in a, because, like, if anybody knows anything about wrestling, they know, like, basically in, like, the 80s, before the 90s happened, like, if anybody's, like, listening to any, like, Jim Cornette's podcast at all, or watch any of Jim Cornette's stuff or whatever, you know that basically, like, in the 70s and, like, mid 80s, that around the United States of America, there were territories set up for wrestling. So like if there was so like I mean if there was like a in Memphis there was like a Memphis territory, or like Texas there was like a Texas territory. So anyway, so basically like this movie is basically telling the story of what it was like, you know, basically wrestling in like the early 80s to the early 80s to the early 90s, from like basically like that decade of what it was like before the World Wrestling Federation's Vince McMahon basically bought up all the territories and turned it into one big national conglomerate company. So this was basically showing what it was like for this, like basically like the Von Erichs, like here, where they were basically wrestling in this territory called the WCCW, which was based in the Texas territory, and so the father, Jack, he had always wanted to basically be like the world heavyweight champion of the world, which back then was called the NWA. So that was that like the NWA back then, before WWF took over, or now what you consider the WWE, was basically known as the national brand, pretty much, of wrestling, where they like, if you held the title for the world heavyweight, they considered you the world heavyweight champion. Whereas, you know, if you were in a different territory, they would, like, for example, like in the movie here, Kevin, he was the Texas champion. So he was just basically like the champion of that territory. And he wanted to basically win his father's approval by becoming the world heavyweight champion, because his father had never became the world heavyweight champion. And the father definitely, you know, like from my perspective, you could definitely tell that he was a classic narcissistic abuser, where, you know, he used like all kinds of manipulative tactics to, you know, get like his sons to basically, you know, pine over his affection, and like even sometimes like he would pit his sons against one another. I mean, like there were, like, for example, like, I mean, this isn't a spoiler at all. Like at the very beginning of the film, like when you're introduced to the family, pretty much, like when they're all like sitting down at the breakfast table, and the father's, you know, poking fun at the youngest of the brothers, Michael, like basically telling him he needs to, you know, start lifting weights and putting weight on and building up mass, and he needs to start thinking about what he wants to do with his life. And then he starts telling Michael to his face in front of his brothers about how he has each one of the brothers like ranked from his favorite to his least favorite. And he's like, well, it's always changing. And so anyway, it was just wild to see what happened with this family. I mean, you get to like a big extreme high, like right at like maybe the 70-minute mark or something like that, and then it just comes crashing down with the family, and it's just a wild ride of a movie. And I don't think I've seen a movie like this that basically was so impactful, like with a storyline, that was, so tragic and everything. Like since I saw like Dallas Buyers Club, and that was probably like 10 years ago when that movie came out. I think that was like 10 years ago when that movie came out. And so I mean, I was just getting feelings of like that movie and this movie as well. I mean, there aren't a lot of comparisons between the two, but I'm just saying, from my point of view, like the way this pacing went along and everything, it just reminded me a lot of when I first saw Dallas Buyers Club 10 years ago. So I'm not going to get into a lot of spoilers, but I felt like the score was subtle but effective. Zac Efron, I thought did an amazing job here. Mara Tierney, I haven't seen her in anything in a while. It's weird because I was just thinking, somebody was just talking about the movie Liar Liar on Twitter or something like that before I got here or whatever, and I think it was my friend Scott, and all of a sudden, like, next thing you know, I'm watching a movie and Mara Tierney's in it, and I was like, wow, that's weird. If anybody that knows who she is, she was the mom in Liar Liar, and she's known to be more of a comedian, because she was also in the show News Radio as well, and I don't see her in a lot of stuff anymore, and so that it was refreshing to see her. The guy who played the father, he's in the show Mindhunter, and I really like that show. And I heard through the grapevine that we might be getting a season 3 of that show, which would be amazing. So anyway, I don't know what else to say more about this film besides, the fact that I can see why that a lot of people pick this as like their number one favorite movie of last year now. Before, I would say like my number one favorite movie of last year before I saw this one was like The Holdovers, for basically like the same reason, was because like basically it's just like old-fashioned storytelling, not a lot of flash but a lot of substance, great characters, and so that's pretty much where I would probably have them. I'd have this one as like number one, and I would have The Holdovers as like my number 2, and I really haven't thought about any of the other movies I'd seen last year. I mean, I think I would like to do a top whatever list of movies that I saw last year. I mean, but I do know that this one was an amazing film that made me feel things I haven't felt in a long time, which is amazing on its own sense. Like, I mean, and The Holdovers was the same way, but like, and all I know is like the worst movie that I think I saw last year is still my worst favorite. Is the worst movie that I've seen last year, and I think that one came out in February, and my view has not changed on that at all since then, and it was Marlowe. So anyway, so that's all I've got really. So if you want to go see a great movie, get out of the house, and you want to see something with great substance that is going to make you probably want to watch it again after you're done with it, because I like seeing the same. I like watching a movie over and over and over again. My late wife, she didn't like that I like to do that, but when I watch a movie and I really like it, and I'll want to sit there and I'll want to watch it again and again and again to basically pick up on things that I hadn't seen before. But that's just me, I guess. Maybe I'm just a weirdo. Anyway, I should really be getting home. I have a job interview in about 4 hours. It's almost 1 o'clock. And here I am at the movies. Coming to see this movie. This wasn't even the first movie I tried to see today. The first movie I tried to see was Night Swim. And I ended up walking out of that one like 10 minutes into it because there was like a group of 8-year-old, like there was a group of like little girls, like I think it was like 8 of them, maybe like 10 to 11, and they were all like talking over the movie, and I couldn't hear a damn thing that was going on, so I ended up leaving instead of going through the motions of watching that painful drag, from what I've heard. But anyway, because like I have a Regal membership thing, like I pay like $25 a month and I get to see as many movies as I want, even on the same day. And so I came here earlier for Night Swim, walked out, and I ended up coming back to the same theater to go see another movie, no charge. So there are some great value plans on some of these theaters have right now that you can basically do like what Regal has for like $20 to $25 unlimited plan or something like that, and you can go see as many movies as you want in a month. And AMC has their own and Cinemark has their own. So there's ways to do it, and I know basically people want like the comfort of their own home, but sometimes, like for me, example, I need to get out every so often, and there's only so many places I can go as a recovering alcoholic / drug addict that doesn't have alcohol or anything else involved. So I can't really go out to a bar, because if I go out to a bar, then what my sponsors always told me is, that eventually, like when you keep going to a barbershop, eventually you're gonna get a haircut. And so that's basically the same thing with going to a bar, like just to hang out or whatever. Eventually I put myself closer and closer to danger of taking that first drink. So going to a movie by myself it helps me get out of the house and helps keep my mind off things and helps me with me, I guess. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got. If you really want to go see a great movie, I highly suggest the Iron Claw. I want to see Poor Things hopefully soon. I know that one's not going to be in theaters for very long. I do like I Am a Stone a lot, so I'll definitely go see that one eventually, maybe tomorrow. So anyway, so if you're gonna go see anything, I highly suggest you give this movie a check. Go support your local theater by going to see this movie. So that's all I got. Anyway, so here's my plug for my business. I work for Coldwell Banker. If anybody's in the business of trying to buy or sell real estate in the state of Maryland or Pennsylvania and now Virginia, I'll leave my information in the description below. I'd love to be able to help you find a house or sell your home for top dollar and find you another house. If not, then you can just refer my name out to family or friends, and if you let me know, then maybe I'll be able to give you a rebate. So anyway, that's all I got. I hope you all have a good night. I got to get home. I'm sure I'm going to be thinking about this movie for a while, and this is definitely shelf worthy, as my friend Matt would say. So, oh yeah, I forgot to give it a grade. I would give this movie, damn, I'd give it at least an A. Maybe this movie deserves having an A plus. If a movie basically has you thinking about it afterwards and has the kind of storytelling, like especially a longer movie like this where it's over an hour and 45 minutes long, like where it's like 2 hours and 10 minutes long, then and the pacing was as good as it was, and it still has you wanting more afterwards. I think it's an A+ movie in my opinion. So anyway, I hope you have a good night. Thank you again. I'll see you next time. That's if you like these reviews. If not, then just ignore them, I guess. But like, subscribe, comment below, tell me what you like, if you saw the movie, what you think about the movie. And I'm sure I'll see you on the next one. Good night.